Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the late start. Thank you for your patience and for being here. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. Wonderful to be in this incredible location to make some important announcements about our beloved veterans and how we can continue our efforts and stay vigilant in our protections. We're here in Patriotic Hall, and we're here in honor of Military Consumer Month. And this is something I've done in the past, and it's important to do every year, to flag important reminders about how our veterans can protect themselves from scams and from being targeted and being exploited and abused. And I want to thank the U.S. vets, including their CEO and President, Steve Peck, who's here, for his partnership, for what he does every day and what he'll continue to do, but for also standing with us today, partnering on this important press conference, sharing critical information to the public and to our veterans community. And you'll hear from him shortly. He'll make a few remarks as well. I also want to express my deep gratitude to all of the veterans who are here with us today. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you have done. I continue to do, your commitment to our country, our safety, and our future. And I know some of you work for U.S. Vets, so thank you to all of our vets who are here and who are watching. Thank you also to the families and support network of our vets who help them continue to be successful, and the U.S. or the California Department of Justice is part of that network, and that's what we're here to talk about. We're issuing today a consumer alert to shine a light on a problem that unfortunately it plagues our military community. Scams and frauds that specifically target our active duty service members and reservists, our veterans and their families. Our veterans should never have to deal with this, but unfortunately it's happening. We're seeing more of it, the targeting of this specific community. Last year, military consumers across the nation reported over 93,000 fraud complaints, and that included nearly 40,000 imposter scams that cost them $164 million. So our veterans were scammed out of $164 million just last year. That is unacceptable, that is despicable, that is wrong, and there are things that we can do to change that. These are our American heroes, people who've dedicated their careers and risked their lives to protect us, to protect the American dream, to protect Americans. You might ask, why are our military members a top target for scammers and for fraudsters? Because they have good benefits they have earned that are theirs, and that scammers want to enjoy for themselves without needing to put any real honest work in. Because probably more than most of us, also our military service members and veterans have a deep sense of camaraderie and affinity and duty to each other and to help others, something that bad actors see as a weakness and seek to exploit. With more active duty service members and veterans in California than any other state in the nation, this is a problem that I take very seriously, and at California DOJ, we're proud to stand up for our military community. Case in point, when scam artist Don Azul deceived more than 40 military families by giving them counterfeit college fee waiver for veteran dependent letters, defrauding them and UC and CSU of more than $500,000, $500,000, we arrested and charged him with grand theft, identity theft, and forgery. We held him accountable for hurting our veterans. When Go Navy Tax Services ran a tax and insurance scheme out of a trailer adorned with military flags located just outside of Naval Base San Diego, we shut down the operation and secured $1 million in restitution for defrauded sailors. And when a nationwide jewelry retailer used unfair and deceptive sales pitches and financing tactics to sell military-themed gifts and jewelry at stores on or near military bases across the country, we joined the Federal Trade Commission and 17 state attorneys to secure a $34.2 million settlement. And we got the company to write off more than $800,000 in debt owed by Californians and agreed to refund more than $700,000 to service members in our state. Those are just a few examples of the frauds and scams out there targeting our military community, ones that we've got involved in, had an opportunity to hold folks accountable and to stop the practice. And that's also these tactics, these approaches, this scamming is also why I was proud to sponsor Senate Bill 1311 last year, which helps shore up California's military consumer protection laws and further protect military consumers from scammers looking to make a quick buck off of their service. So we provided additional protections to those that were already there. The work that we're doing at DOJ is important, but we know that we can't do it alone. Our military community is the first line of defense, our eyes and ears on the ground that can raise the alarm when something suspicious is afoot. I know being the target of a scam can feel confusing, it can feel violating, maybe even embarrassing. But there is nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing that you've done wrong. You're the victim. These criminals are cunning and conniving. They prey on good people for their bad deeds. And so I can't stress this enough. We need everyone to report scams and frauds when you see them, when you experience them, when you witness them, and to report them immediately. That will help law enforcement hold folks accountable and bring them to justice. Reporting a scam or fraud doesn't only protect you as a potential victim, it also protects your fellow service members and veterans who may be the next target. The list of scams to be on the lookout for, unfortunately, is long, and it's varied, which is why we've detailed many of them in our consumer alert that we're putting out today. For example, there are charity scams. These use names that sound legitimate or that mimic well-known charities. Before donating, I urge you to make sure the organization is on the up and up, that they are a legitimate charity. You can determine this by going to our charity verification tool at oag.ca.gov/charities to make sure that the charity that is talking to you is legitimate and is registered. And it can even show you the organization's financial report. So that's a good tool to use to protect yourself. There are also predatory schools, for-profit schools that go after military members and their GI Bills with high-pressure sales tactics. So when considering a school, do your due diligence, ask for graduation rates, get information, ask for job placement rates and graduate salary information. Be informed. And don't discount the incredible opportunities available through California community colleges, CSUs, and UCs, our incredible California higher education institutions. Military members might also encounter home loan scams. These try to convince homeowners to refinance their homes or agree to loan modifications. Be cautious about calls or letters that ask you to pay fees up front before receiving any services, that tell you to reroute your mortgage payments or pressure you to sign new agreements you haven't had a chance to fully analyze and to fully vet. These folks may claim to be affiliated with the government, the VA, or your home loan servicer. They're not. The list goes on, unfortunately. Identity theft and fraud, job scams, pension scams, affinity fraud, debt collection and illegal threats, rental housing scams, and predatory auto sales and financing, all of which pose serious threats to military consumers and are explained in detail in our alert. So please use our alert as a resource. This isn't about scaring the military community. It's about informing them and arming them with tools and ways to protect themselves. For example, our alert reminds folks to take advantage of the free annual credit report you have available to you. Everyone's entitled to it. You can check your credit report and it can help you spot signs of identity theft and fraud. Regularly check your credit card bills and bank statements. That can also help you spot charges and withdrawals you didn't make so you can take swift action, including placing a federal alert and freezing your credit if necessary. You should also immediately report identity theft at identitytheft.gov and file a police report with local law enforcement. For folks who live here in LA County, there's also a particular resource I want to highlight. You can sign up for the Enhanced Homeowner Notification Program to receive mailed copies of documents recorded against your home. And I said this before, but it bears repeating. If you've been the victim of a scam, if you've been the victim of a fraud, or even suspect you may have been, maybe you're not sure, please report it to local law enforcement, to your bank, to the FTC at identitytheft.gov, or to us at DOJ at oag.ca.gov/report. And if you are a service member, be sure to reach out to your base legal office for assistance as well. DOJ's Consumer Protection Section is here to help. We investigate and prosecute businesses that deceive our military community. We're in constant contact with other agencies, attorneys, financial counselors, and organizations that share our core mission. It's a sad reality that there are people in our world who see our service members and veterans as a cash cow, an easy way to make a quick buck. They don't see what I see: good, noble heroes who've given so much to all of us, who deserve to be respected, to be thanked, to be protected. To those bad actors, I say, we're on to you. We will hold you accountable. And more than anything, I'm here to tell our military community, we've got your back. We support you. I hope you find the consumer alert we put out today helpful, and please share it with your friends, colleagues, anyone who you think can benefit, and please reach out to us if you need help. And now, before I open it up for questions, I'd like to turn it over to Steve Peck, President and CEO of U.S. Vets, who's going to say a few words.
Good morning. When I served with the Marine Corps in Vietnam, and when I got back, I was certainly fragile. I was vulnerable, and so I understand what these young veterans are seeing. I was looking for a way forward and didn't know how to get there. This is what Patriotic Hall is all about. U.S. Vets established the one-stop service center here to reach out to veterans, men, women, families, to educate them and let them know what resources were available to them. I'm so glad that Attorney General Bonta has educated us about what the help that is available at the state. We provide mental health counseling here to veterans at 16 different community colleges in Los Angeles and Orange County. We work with the Department of Mental Health here. We work with the LA County Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. All the partners that we bring together will allow veterans to get the resources they need. We're doing everything we can to reach out to the community through the community colleges, through our other sites here in Los Angeles. U.S. Vets has 2 other sites in Los Angeles County, about to be 3. So we really are trying to get veterans to seek help. Veterans are very independent. They've been taught to suck it up and move forward. And we want to kind of counteract that and say, okay, the best thing for you to do, the strongest thing that you can do is to ask for help. So that's what we are trying to do here at Patriotic Hall. We're also providing employment assistance, getting veteran peers engaged in helping other veterans. What Attorney General Bonta has said here today will just add to the list of resources that we can give to our veterans to help them move forward. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And with that, I can answer any questions that you might have for me or Mr. Peck. More the latter. The scams have always been there, and we're advising people. We're sometimes seeing new scams, new approaches, so we want to inform our military personnel of the most recent threats and risks. But as the data last year showed, too many veterans, too many military personnel are being defrauded, are losing their money, and so we wanted to put together something that was sort of an omnibus collection of all of the different scams and frauds that we're aware of, so that there can be defense and protection of the military community by them. They can protect themselves. When you see it coming, that you can be wary and you can be cautious and you can be diligent in your approach. But we're seeing a pretty steady year-over-year number in scams and frauds. Not exclusively and not specifically. It unfortunately covers the full range from newly enlisted individuals who could be 18, 19, 20, new at a naval base, and I met some of them when I was at Naval Base San Diego, who are getting a paycheck for the first time. There's auto dealers and others that seek to prey on them with their new, they're away from home and the new money that they have. Sometimes there's sort of romance type scams as well for younger individuals and older. So it's not age specific. It covers the range of veterans and military personnel. It's really two things. They know that veterans have access to benefits, resources, as well as pay when they're active, and that there is a strong and fierce loyalty among military personnel to one another. So if they approach them as being fellow members of the military community, there is often a trust and a faith and a loyalty that's given by military members to others who hold themselves out there as military members. So that has led to some of the fraud and the scams being successful and money being taken wrongly from military personnel. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us today.